Boom. Yeah, they determine seeding. So tournament, these teams are jockeying for seeding for the tournament, right? And that's what the league section of the is played for. Oh, excuse me. So both these rosters, I can pull up their current league standings directly after jockeying for positioning within the league currently. The Crows, obviously the order side, Geller, Hibana, and Clarine versus Immortals, Trill, and Little Cuba on the Warriors side. The bands, obviously Raijin and LaFay, more so going for the Bruiser, Mage-esque bands on both of those. Notable Purse picked up, obviously more damage-esque, being where she thrives the most. Only if you were kneeling like a room without a roof. Baba Yaga with her passive, we've talked about it numerous times. Being able to stack Cloak, go alternate timeline with a 40% health regen or reset. Able to do a ton of damage on the Mage category. I'm interested to see if they elect to go this double Mage, or this Mage Fizz double frontline, or if they go traditional with an ADC, getting one of the Prile, either X-Ball or Hachi on either one of these rosters. Or if teams slightly adjust their draft accordingly. Waiting on a second pick from the Warriors as they're discussing what they want to do as far as a draft goes. Bacchus. Okay. So a double magical, a Bacchus, aka Guardian Mage, on the side of the Warriors. A Charon. I love this response. A Charon into a Bacchus, obviously the knockup immunity, and a Charon dash, along with the silence for the Bacchus burp. I love that matchup, favoring more so the Crows, right? Also allows you to silence or catch Baba Dash, putting her in a bad position if she tries to dash aggressively, making her kind of sit back from distance and poke from range. So this whole start or draft, I'm favoring especially on the Crows side of things. Now both teams will have a double magical. Obviously they're going to elect to ban out Fizz, whether that's Assassins, Warriors, or ADCs. I'm going to, based off these drafts, more so ban out Assassins. I would think along the lines of a Hunbat's Thor, maybe an ADC, maybe an X-Ball there on the next slot for the Crows, banning out a Cupid ban, which seems to be more often a target ban at Geller, that being his comfort pick, getting him off some comfortability, forcing him onto a different pick for Geller. Obviously, Geller is more so an ADC main, so maybe that's the direction that they're trying to poke it out via the Warriors. I wonder if this is going to be an X-Ball or a Hachi ban on the side of the Crows, banning out this double ADC, or an ADC last ban slot here. They're definitely thinking about what they want to do. Maybe the Cupid ban threw them a little off kilter, off path of what they originally had wanted to draft. Maybe that was what they wanted to pick up last slot here. Unfortunately, not able to lock it. And there's the X-Ball ban. Okay. X-Ball with his passive really seen a resurgence within Joust with Griffin Wing being a T2 start, really synergizing well with his ult, and just generic kit with a free passive of power that he's able to pull down. And there's the Hachi. So both primary ADCs elected to be banned off, leaving that Assassin, Dive, Thor, Hunbats, etc. onto the table for both these rosters. I wonder what they elect to go for. I still wouldn't mind an ADC pickup from both these rosters versus going that Assassin route. But we'll see what they elect to go with. Teams definitely taking their time within P's and B's to figure out what they want to do within the draft. What that looks like on both teams. I'm assuming the Crows are going to go for an ADC last slot. More so this traditional mage ADC frontline solo frontline agent on the Crows. That seems to be the draft style that fits them really well. I am interested to see, and they actually elect to go with Thor on the side of the Warriors, this double dive with a Bacchus Thor, allowing them to get in there. I'm a little concerned with that dive. If it's not coordinated, it's not on the same page, can really go poorly into a Persephone. A Bacchus flops in, you're just going to get Persalted, exploded. I wouldn't mind a safe ADC here. On the side of the Crows, what that is left open, I mean, on her, Chiron, Ishtar. I'm not a fan of Ishtar into this matchup. I'm assuming that's going to be something they elect to go as an ADC in this final slot on the Crows. Just a matter of what fits that comp well into that. Actually elects to go an Assassin, aka Sir Cat. I actually don't mind this. This pickup by the Crows a little bit different, off kilter or off par with normally what I'd see from this roster. I like the change. Hi, Taylor. The Sir Cat allows a ton of mobility, stopping Bacchus burp, able to catch again this Baba Yaga dash and possibly put this Thor in a bad situation. The CC very counter heavy comp. I favor Crows draft, obviously for the cancellation and a lot of the range poke accordingly, but we'll get into game one. What's up, Terrified? Hi, Taylor. What's up, guys? There we go. Boom. Took a second. Boy. I'm interested to see builds here. Okay, so Baba's going into a Book of Thoth. Passive ban will stack that easily. A Thor electing to go full damage versus this double tank front line on the side of the Crows. Both mages electing to start blue buffs, while the other two, aka double front lines, elect to try to exchange buffs. Crows able to secure that with a Chiron. I'm really excited to see this Chiron pick into this comp. I think Chiron pick's going to do phenomenally. Again, that knock-up immunity for Bacchus, jump, the cancellation on burp, or just the general range poke should be heavily favored here. Unable to secure that. The Warriors are able to secure it. Bacchus, the main target. Got to be a little careful here. My turn at first blood and is. First blood immediately going to the Persephone. What's up, Sippy Cup? How are you? This is not live. This is our replay. Unfortunately. This was played a set last night. It's going to look like a double Thieves on the side of the Crows. I'm assuming that's going to be... I'm assuming it's going to be a Divine. I wouldn't mind a Desolation for the 20% cooldown. Just continue to spam range damage. The Persephone is going to find a ton of value on range poke into this Baba Yaga Thor, because they're both damage, versus a double frontline being able to dive this Persephone freely. The Thor's got to be a little careful that he doesn't get over poked here, although that's good range poke onto the Persephone. The potion connects as well. A really good cast by both Trill and Immortals. Good silence for that burp again, like we'd mentioned. Thor Rail was hoping to catch him out or trap him in a corner, allowing to get some of that poke. However, the Charon able to dash out. I'm not a fan I mean, I understand where the Thor is going with this, but going to full damage versus going a little bit bruiser in the beginning and then go damage end, allowing for some of that survivability to dive. If he just gets caught either by Circat Taunt Alt or Persalt, I feel like that's just going to be a nights out for this Thor. So a lot of this front line and playability is going to be on this Bacchus's shoulders. Good taunt, stopping the Bacchus burp. Decent cast by both the Thor Hammer and Baba Yaga 1. Able to poke out the Circat Persephone. Little Chester spawned in the corners by birds. Red is up. Warriors looking for wave pressure to pull. Both teams have alts, all relics, or Bacchus would say almost all relics available. Bacchus beads are still down for 6. Decent taunt. Good range damage from the Charon. Good coordination by the Crows in general to steal that red buff away from the Warriors, even though they had wave pressure. What's up, Real? This is a match. Unfortunately, not canon. Purple Aid will be secured by the Warriors. So a 2 for 2 as far as buff goes. Warriors able to secure purple. Unfortunately, not able to secure red buff. The majority of their lead is going to be swinging more so based off of First Blood. Actually, it's not even accurate. That is accurate. Okay. There's that Book of Thoth. I'm assuming it's going to be a Divine. That was a Desolation for the Persephone. 20% cooldown on her side. Good silence onto the Baba. Immediate ward coverage on the side of Crows, trying to get both choke points covered, just in case those Thor ults are going to come from those corners. Pinged out a ward. Poke exchanged from the Charon onto the Thor as well. That's a great rail onto the Purse Charon. However, the all-in called Bacchus beads immediately forced based off the Purse Charon alts. Bacchus got to be a little careful he's not getting overpoked. However, the Thor able to contact and Shallow immediately forced. Beads in turn due to the Circat alting the Thor, holding Tower's edge. Thor is up, looking for that final hit onto the Persephone. We got to be careful. She did walk it all the way back versus lazy backing. A really good awareness by the Baba Yaga, knowing that, or by the Persephone, excuse me, knowing that if she did lazy back, that Thor is going to immediately look for alt to secure. So alt and beads off the Thor. Thor's got to be a little conscious now. Circat alt going to come up before Thor's alt, along with Persalt. He should be the target moving forward. Circat blink, unfortunately, into the Bacchus burp. A loss of relic. Red able to be secured by the Warriors. I'm interested to see this Thor build pathing, whether that's full damage, going more than a bruiser, allowing for some of that survivability, or is he just going off that range poke off of a rail hammer, trying to work down either the Circat or Purse. Persalt able to catch this Baba. Baba alt immediately forced. An alt for alt. Surcat got to be a little careful. The Bacchus alt, just not enough damage. What's up, Sen? How are you? A 2 alts for 2 alts. No kill netted on either side. Notably, the relic graveyard that is currently on the side of the Warriors got to be a little careful. The Baba beads and alt are down. Like I'd mentioned, there was / is a small window. I want to see the Surcat kind of either target this Thor or Baba Yaga, knowing they're both full damage, and then this Crow's team immediately bursting off that 30-second window on the beads or on the Baba, knowing neither one of them have alts. I guess Thor does have alt now, so maybe the Baba Yaga should be the primary target. Surcat doesn't have Blink for 25. Bit of lockdown onto this Charon. The target of most of that poke. The dash in, triple root by the Charon. Purse looking for any kind of exchange damage. Thor is immediately in the air. Here comes that all in. That immediate lockdown onto the Thor. Like I said, as soon as he lands, not having beads, the beads... Actually, it's almost picturesque. Hold on. I actually want to go back. I want to know how much time he actually had the beads on landing. 8 seconds. 6. On landing. A 4 seconds at time of Surcat alt just coming up during that gridlock. A little premature on the original initiation. Unfortunate for him. He was the target of a Surcat Purse alt. Able to do just enough. The Baba Yaga not able to secure enough damage onto the Charon. So a 1-0 trade. The Thor beads just not up. Purse and Surcat out able to secure that lockdown and eventually bring the kill toward the Crows. This is not live, Wagner. This is a replay from last night, so they're definitely not in the game. Red will be spawning shortly. Relic, aka Beads, is still down on the Baba Yaga. Alt, Purse, and Surcat alts coming up shortly. A big combo from the Thor onto the Surcat Purse. The Thor alt proving possibly just enough damage, and is the Surcat and Charon able to put out enough damage to secure that just off of Persephone alt as well. Beads force as well. A 0-2 onto this Thor. You got to be a little careful going into this amount of CC without beads. Going this full damage build might prove to be just that difference. Red being pulled. Charon looking to just pull this enough for his cast. Unfortunate Baba even out of range to secure that. Chester is still in the corners, not pulled by either team. Purple being elected to be pathed to by the Warriors. Is Sentry in hand for this Thor, possibly looking to ult from the corridors now. Trying to make sure he's not on complete vision. That way this Crows roster isn't aware he is going to start that initiation. Sentry on either corridor, so ward coverage completely controlled here by the Warriors. I would like this Thor to either be the second initiation, aka the Bacchus starts that fight, or he waits for these beads to be up, because as soon as he's landing or going in, he is the target of a Purse alt, Chiron alt, or Surcat alt. I mean, either all of those are going to kind of gridlock him until death, knowing he's a full damage. They are looking to challenge this. Thor rail a little off the mark. Charon silencing out the Bacchus burp. Both Guardians kind of poking each other out. So double Thebes, double Genji's guard by this Crows roster. An erosion picked up for the shielding in response to the Charon. So now we're seeing a little bit of defense on the side of the Thor. I don't know if that's going to be a dirt. What he's electing to go here, third item slot. So I'd say I would not mind a dirty bubble here. However, Kieran able to pull that bubble off with silence. So I'm not sure I'd be thrilled by that. Serket hovering, sentry for sentry, able to pull that sentry down. Now a ward split. Charon immediately alting this Thor, forcing the alt, knowing the hammer was down. Bacchus alted to try to create some of that separation. Purse beads immediately used. That poke damage. Charon dashing in. Baba alting, hopefully able to turn a fair amount of damage onto this Charon. It should net and no kills either way. Or wave pressure. There's going to be a wave shoved under tower. Loss in gold for the Crows. Obviously, that's going to be a net win on the side of the Warriors, knowing that they forced Persephone beads. Bacchus flop a little off the mark. Purse alted. Bacchus beads immediately used. Obviously, some of that poke down. I thought he was at possible kill threshold, even though Serket was nowhere around. Baba Yaga electing to pull blue by herself. Again, ward coverage kind of 50-50 on both sides. A sentry ward on either of their safe, aka nearest choke points for either team. A Mantle of Discord for this Thor. Now you're at 50% cooldown here. Or no, I lie. You're at 40 because of the 10%. I'm trolling. So 40% immediate cooldown for this Thor. The Mantle passive obviously proccing when he is at that threshold, below the 30%. The P's and B's are pretty stereotypical. I mean, a Raijin Persephone bands, obviously, for the Bruiser Mages. You had a Thoth, Kuzenbo band. Forget what their 5th and 6th band were. And then immediately it turned into 3 ADCs, aka Hachi, X-Ball, Cupid, target band at Geller, and then a Kamazat's band, 5th slot. Thor immediately be the all-in here, forcing, again, him to back based off the general poke. Serket poked out the same. Both assassins forced to back. A big initiation and, I guess, disengage as well by both teams. Both teams looking for that disengage. Now, keep in mind, what I thought was going to be the CC immunity, AK beads, was the Mantle proc on the Thor. The Mantle allowing him to survive just then, giving him that out. How are you, Ty? No, you're the GOAT, big dog. Miss you, dude. Hopefully you're doing well. Galler was putting in a ton. Now, Bacchus is the target of that Persol. I don't know if that was immediately looked for that Thor. A little careful. Charon all not able to get just enough. The Thor rail, just a little bit of gap there, allowing the Charon to get out of tower. That should result in a red buff for the Crows. Just to see this graph here. Obviously, still a gradual lead heading toward this Crows roster. I am interested to see, obviously you have a double bruiser here, right? Almost full damage Persephone. He is electing, I'm assuming this is going to be either a Crusher or a Titans, right? I wouldn't mind a Titans for the percent pen. Obviously into this double tank from this Thor. I'm a little concerned, however, what I was about to get to. With draft-wise, this Crows roster, obviously the Disruption and General CC, if they're able to pick this Thor, they kind of just run the roster, and there's a big Persalt onto the Thor, forcing beads. It would have been even bigger if they forced beads and then got him below that 30%, which would have procced the mantle as well. However, they didn't get this proc. However, the Sir Cat immediately going in for it. I thought the proc was going to be enough to save him. Not able to get the Thor alt off to completely get out a big engage by the Sir Cat. Dude, I cannot speak generic or general English right now. Holy cow. Good engage by that Sir Cat. Able to get proc, aka the mantle, and secure the kill. Bacchus looking for any kind of damage he can turn. You're going to be a little careful. I'm going to back up here just for generic vision. Purse alting, getting Bacchus beads. He's got to be careful. Charon alting wave to try to make sure that this Baba doesn't secure a T1 in turn. This would be actually pretty big if the Bacchus gets out. Now, the reason for that, the big amount of poke this Baba is able to turn onto the T1. Get Bacchus able to get them off bolt. This Thor's got to be careful. He is alted by himself. I don't even think he was on a ward. Alting back down. This is really well played by the Warriors, pulling them off bull via the Bacchus. Baba Yaga able to split push, quote unquote, and get over half of T1. Unfortunate, though, that the Crows disengaged, that Thor isn't able to get a ton of value with that ult. Really well played by the Warriors otherwise. Big amount of poke onto this Persephone. I appreciate the raid, Central. Welcome, welcome. Hopefully we're streaming it well. Sir Cat alting the Baba Yaga. Immediately going into ult for that disengage the Pride One proc. Allowing her not to get a ton of poke. What's up, dude? Hope you're doing well. Thor's hovering here looking for a little bit of poke with the Rail Hammer. Pride One proc on both the Bacchus and Sir Cat. Silence a little off the mark by the Charon. I want to see the Warriors be a little careful. This Bacchus is poked out, yet red is up. Good silence by the Charon onto the Baba, aka catching the Baba dash. I appreciate the raid as well. Hi, everybody. Hopefully you're doing well. I'm a good one to raid. I don't know about that. We're just watching the League Joust game. The Thor blinks in. A really good play by the Thor. Blinks in, immediately forcing this Persephone ult and hammering away, getting out of range. I love that change, or a little bit of an adjustment by this engage. The Thor blinks in, forces Persalt, and gets away without losing anything on that. So a relic for an ult. I'm cool with it. Thor now going for ult. This, you have a full wave coming in. Trying to secure that tower. Thor all a little off the mark. The Charon was hovering. I want to see them get tower here. You should have. I don't know. I think a little bit I would have liked to see is the Baba try to step in, secure a couple autos versus going into ult. Obviously, Thor ulting gives them a little bit of that zone with that wave pressure. Now they're kind of getting ran down here. Gotta be a little careful. A big purse ult onto this Thor. Beads immediately forced. Mantle did not proc. These purse alts have been on point. Baba looking to stop the purse back and does. T1 still standing for the Crows. Now keep in mind we are getting close.
level 18 for the Baba, level 17 to these alternate timelines. I'm interested to see how those play apart. Obviously, the alternate timelines being buffed from that 25% to a 40% respawn health. So a big, significant buff, allowing both of these mages to come back into the fight. I'm interested to see how those utilized. Serket immediately ulting the Bacchus, unable to connect the CC, unfortunately, to gridlock him under there, making him take a little bit more damage than he did. So an alt utilized there. I would have liked to see Thor be the point of pressure here. Now Bacchus ulted under tower. Beads are immediately forced. They were looking for that T1 engage. Unfortunately, just not enough. Charon ulted as well from spawn. So all three alts utilized. However, all three alts on the side of Warriors are up. Bacchus a little worse for Warrior, though. Red a little under 30 seconds from spawn. No, so I actually run a cash Joust league, for the record. So any money I make from Twitch via subs, ad revenue, etc., I put into a Joust league tournaments that I have the $900 tournament tomorrow. I just give all the cash back to the community. So this is actual 8-week league, 7 weeks of league play, and then the 8th week is a tournament. So all these teams are playing for seeding in that tournament. At the tail end, a big Thor rail, allowing the Baba Yaga to get 2, if not 3 of those casts off the alt. Charon immediately ults to try to buy some of that separation for the Persephone. Yeah, so anybody who subs this channel has full access to the tournaments, to the leagues. And if you T2 sub, we actually have coaches available, aka GMs, semi-pro, if not eventually pro coaches and pro players to coach some of these players to try to help grow the community. That's the whole point of what we're doing. But yeah, I appreciate that. So all alts... Oh, hold on. Serket does have ult and does ult. So immediately Thor beads are forced based off Serket ult, keeping them on cooldown even though he did upgrade them to level 2. Purse ulting, able to catch this Baba, forcing Baba beads now. So both beads off of the Thor and Baba Yaga. Gonna have to really depend on these alts. Good Serket taunt. Rail just off the mark, however. They've got to be a little careful. Warriors have the advantage via ults with the Baba Thor ult, but no relics on their side as far as beads. Charon ulting. Forces the Baba ult. Thor trying to turn as much damage as he can. Got to be a little conscious. Amadeus, I appreciate the raid. Welcome, BBCers. A big BBC raid coming in. Hopefully your ranked Joust stream went well. Purse immediately ulting. Looking for that contact. Serket trying to create some of that separation. Now Thor blink ulted. Looking for this Purse. This would be a big pickup. The shell comes through. The silence as well. Not allowing the Thor to get the 3 off. However, the auto attack proving just enough. Manta Proc still down. A big engage for the Warriors. Got to be a little careful we don't lose another. It's a big pickup. A T1 as well. This is a big swing for the Warriors. Make sure we find that value. Keep in mind the Serket blink is down. She was looking for that possible engage onto this backline. This is risky. I'm not a fan of this. Charon has ult. They're under tower. Charon elects to ult. Dashing forward. Bacchus incredibly poked down. Charon doing a huge amount of base damage. The Baba ult canceled, looking for the knockback and shielding from Baba ult. Bacchus now the solo target. Just not enough damage by this Charon. Serket is hovering. No blink available, though. They were able to get out. I'm not a fan of that engage by the Warriors. They got little to no damage on the bird and forced ults down. Yes, you got a Charon ult in return, but a possible, almost a complete misplay by them on that overextension. I would have liked to see just the T1 pull some of the buffs off the map, keep some of that farm and back. That was a big net win, killing that first dash a little off the mark as well. I'm good, Amadeus. I'm good. I'm glad you've been practicing the mouse and keyboard. I know it's frustrating. Keep up the grind. That muscle memory will come, I promise. Just give it some time. Charon, the target of some of that CC, able to catch the dash. Thor now hovering. Chester is up along with Blue. Neither team have really good siege without Bull, so that's going to be kind of Bull-centric. I would have loved to see this Chester pulled or this Blue based off the pressure Warriors had. Like, this is a ton of farm we left on the map when Warriors seem to be the aggressor. Now Crow's able to come out here and get some of that farm. Karen kind of cracked. What's up, Habana? How are you, man? I got you, man. The Charon. Ward coverage owned by the Warriors irregular on opposing choke point while a sentry on their own. Thor looking for any range poke. Obviously, notably, these alternate timelines are on both these mages. A Surcat immediately ulting this Bacchus. A ton of damage. Turned. The Thor walks straight in to the Purse ult. Beads immediately forced. Didn't want to give up his ult. Now forced to ult, however. A possible engage onto the Purse. The Thor ult just off the mark. Doesn't really matter because both relics were forced anyway. Now you got to be a little careful. This is a big bait. You got Thor Blink. However, you got to keep in mind she has alternate. Even if you kill her, she's going to reset. However, in that meantime, both assassins were traded by both teams. So mages, both alternate timeline, this reset's going to speak a big deal. The Purse able to turn in a massive amount of damage. And the Purse connecting ult onto this Baba. Alternate timeline forced on this Persephone. Now keep in mind this Baba still has alternate. Trying to go for that engage. There's that alternate force. Does the Chiron have enough damage to turn it onto this Purse? Baba ult force for that shielding. Unfortunately, is it enough damage to turn Purse kind of dancing around while the Chiron does enough damage onto the Baba? A 3-for-1 in favor of the Crows. Should result in a T1 possible bird. Thor is down for 14. Wave is a little out. This Thor is going to immediately look for this Purse. This alternate timeline and both relics are down. You got to be a little conscious, secure, and disengage, knowing he's up in 2. Not able to get that disengage off. Charon, both ults, so ult for ult. Is it enough? And isn't the damage able to kill him before he gets in the air? Unfortunate misplay by this Thor. I thought we might have had the chance to actually secure that kill. However, a big bait by the Crows picking up a kill onto this Thor, putting him back in the gray screen. Now, notably, both alternate timelines are down, but a 3K pot is being hovered by this Baba Yaga. Surcat able to secure the red. Starters across all 3 for the Crows, while only 2 for the Warriors. Now, Bacchus sold starter looking for, I'm assuming, what's going to be a mantle as well. The 0.5 plays. A fire blink by the Surcat, immediately looking for that engage onto the Baba Yaga, forcing ult. Baba relics are still down. However, ult is forced. A big amount of damage on the Titan. This should be either all-in call or possible disengage now. Thor is up with ult. A massive amount of damage turned onto the Titan. You want to see a complete disengage here by the Crows, knowing they got that big amount of damage onto the Titan. If they walk away here, that should pretty much spell end, because now they just walk in and look for that end. A big amount of pressure with fire waves. Relics are almost all up, and just about are for the Warriors. Now it's kind of on them to make a big play here, knowing that you can't let them into Titan Room. However, they have to deal with fire waves. You have to make sure they can't kite in, and more often than not, you're going to give up bull here for pressure. They need to make a big play to win back, if not bring back this game. I appreciate this, Central. Appreciate you the raid. Hopefully we'll see you again. Hopefully you stream it well. Hi, Sippy. Bull secured. Now, there is no hurry here by the Crows. They can just take it slow, knowing they don't need to force. Now, the Baba, a big rail on the Circat. She ults for the Pride 1 proc. It looks like an all-in call by the Crows, looking for that all-in, and do just not enough damage from the Warriors to really either A, keep them out, or secure a kill. I thought the Thor rail catching the Circat dash was going to be enough, but a good heads-up play by the Circat, ulting for the Pride 1 proc and CC immunity onto the Charon. Just not enough. On the Warrior side, they got a ton of that range poke. I thought, obviously the Mantle proc allowed Thor to get out once, getting some value on that, but immediately not finding a ton of value outside of that. The burst immediately turned on, right? I want to see what adjustments they make on the side of Warriors. Let me adjust the team names here real quick. And then Warriors obviously electing to go first pick. I'm not going to throw up a poll on past games. I'll throw up polls on live ones where no one knows the answer and prediction to that. Otherwise, it would be a little rigged, right? So polls will go up on live sets, not on replays where they already know the answer. Good try, though. I'm blonde, but I'm not completely dumb. So a Raijin Charon ban, a little bit of an adjustment from the Warriors. Obviously recognizing that Charon puts in a ton of work with those cancellations, the knock of immunity, etc. They banned that out, knowing that that put in a ton of work on the side of the Crows. A Thoth locked in first. Thoth getting through that phase. Now, what adjustment I want to see is I want to see a double dive, right, from this Crows roster. Don't go for that traditional. Thoth's going to find a ton of his value into traditional ADC mage. But if they lock in a Guardian Warrior or a Guardian Assassin and go for that double dive onto the Thoth, really punishing him, that would be a big example of what's going to counter him. If you allow this Thoth to free cast from range, it's really going to make this game extremely unfun for the Crows. That's what I want to see as far as an adjustment. Knowing that they picked this Thoth, I want to see someone that's able to either A, counter dive, or B, going to be able to play off of a answering a dive for dive with this Thoth poke, hopefully onto this Thoth or onto this purse, along with a maybe traditional comp. I've never been a massive fan of locking in Thoth first because you're immediately going to be the targeted player, right? This Thoth is going to be answered with a double dive typically, so building a draft around him and why they want to do that. Why am I so reasonable? I don't know. Some days I'm not reasonable. I'm a big bad guy. Bacchus is being hovered. Jing Chen, obviously, from the immunity frames on his jump, the CC immune alt. I actually like this. Jing Chen obviously finds a ton of value, obviously, for the auto attack. His breath in answer to an ADC or an auto attack based assassin. I am interested. So both teams, not a ton of adjustment in draft stage, right? You're still going for this double magical first with a mage guardian. I wonder if both teams are going to elect to go this assassin pick on last slot. Do they make an ADC? I don't want to see an ADC pickup by the Crows. Like I said, I want to see a double dive, an assassin pickup by the Crows in answer to this Thoth. However, I'm keeping an eye on what this Warriors roster elects to do in third slot in response to the Crows. is going to tell me a lot of who you're going to favor going into this game 2 of the set. So obviously 2 big picks. I actually don't like the Odin ban here by the Warriors, because if you lock in all, like if they all in with this Cabra, Odin, etc., you're just going to see 3 Phantom Shells on the side of the Warriors. I would have liked to see a different assassin ban from the Warriors. I would want them to go this Odin Kabrakan. I do understand, obviously, the Fen, a notable counter pick into this Thoth, a double ADC ban on the side of this Crows roster, making sure they don't go for an OP ADC with either the power and X-Balls passive or the kite ability with the Hachi / safety. And range poke from his 1. This pick should tell us a ton. I want to see a warrior or assassin here picked up by the Crows, looking for that double dive onto the Sloth. I mean, notably, the Surcat is wide open that Geller went to originally in game number 1. I wonder if he's going to favor doing that again. Both teams taking their time, and they do. So Surcat immediately locks in. A ton of kite ability by the Surcat. Obviously going to go this blink. Good lockdown. I love this pick. Like I said, this double dive now. A big lockdown with Kabrakan, hopefully catching that dash. I'm not thrilled by the draft here. A double front line with this Thoth. Neither of them are very peel-centric. So this Thoth's going to be alone on an island. What's going to happen is going to turn into who can trade the best, right? Meaning both mages dead. Hypothetically, in a perfect world, both these double dives are going to exchange, kill both mages, and then how do we look at this double dive versus double dive in a 2v2 situation? I'm not sure. I mean, again, I kind of favor the Crows exchange with this Surcat anti-heal and a double taunt. Big damage onto that. I'm not a ton. I don't know. A lot of us going to find out who gets more value on this mage, right? This range poke, either from the Thoth or Persephone. Let's go into game number 2 and find out. Imagine not respect. They respect Band of the Charon. Give them that. I'm assuming it's going to be double tank, and then the mage, right? So like I said, who's going to get more value off this mage / range poke? What's going to happen is both these mages are going to be prioritizing range and then looking to poke down these tanks. The mobility off the Surcat being able to move around, I don't know. I think the obvious plays are going to be how long / how much damage this Thoth gets off, and then you have to deal with a Cabra, a Persalt from range, or a Surcat, right? He's got a lot to fear. However, a lot of weight goes onto this Xing Chen and how much value you're going to get either on the lockdown with the root or this ult. If he's not able to find a ton of value from this Xing Chen ult, I'm afraid for this Warriors roster / draft. Obviously, so both teams electing to go this Bruiser build. Notably, a 3 Bs, but a Blink Shell here. Phantom Shell elected. Obviously, I'm hoping this would be a full item and then immediate Phantom Shell. What's up, Rasquid? How are you, man? So, blue pulled by the Persephone. Thoth is hovering this red, looking to secure it. Actually, they were able to secure it. So order, aka the Warriors, securing red. Blue buff picked up by the Crows. A little worse for wear, though. Gotta be a little careful. Shell immediately forced. Gotta be careful it's not immediately turned. And is the Thoth just not able to secure the kill? So, one relic forced off the Shiva. want to see the Warriors immediately, obviously look for a little poke, possibly shove wave under, because that is a ton of archers, 2 waves worth. But immediately look for this purple buff, getting a little, the Sloth getting a ton of range damage poke on this Kraken Surcat. Now a big central conversation is going to be the level 5 spikes, right? But as soon as the itemization comes on for this Caribou Surcat, I want to see them extremely active on the Sloth. The Sloth has a very small window to really work off of with this range before he's going to be the target of a whole lot of aggression. Warriors immediately looking for this purple-blue, giving them that 3 buff for 1 in the early game. So notably as well, it looks like a prophetic cloak for the Shiva. I like the a little bit not going to double thieves, right? Because they don't stack. So I'm not a big fan of prophetic, however. Being able to stack that and put a ton of value onto that. However, staggering to make sure you're not just doubly using thieves. Noticeable change. Holy cow. More caffeine. Purse has all 3 members of the Warriors have alt. Thieves is just a phenomenal item. I don't disagree. A big engage / Jing Chen alt. However, they get Kraken beads, Purse, and Cabra alt, so a big value by the Jing Chen. Thoth hovering alt. Contacts, but only contacts the Surcat. Unfortunately, unable to contact this Persephone. Shiva pulling red. Thoth trying to turn any kind of damage he can onto this Persephone. Make sure she's poked out. Prophetic, both Thebes, a Deso, aka 20% cooldown for this Purse, immediately locked in. A Sentry picked up by the Warriors and put on an aggressive choke point. No first blood in game number 2 as of yet. Not a ton of difference between these two teams. The Purse dashing in. A unfortunate misplay. Beads and alt should spell her death and does, but the Thoth should immediately be responded with. Got to be a little careful. He's looking for that dash through book. Right into Surcat's loving arms, if you will. And it does. But it should turn in a 2-for-1. A really good play by the Crows, making sure they secure what thought was going to be a bad situation by the Purse dashing in. Like I said, the double dive for double dive, still securing a mage for mage, and then a 2-for-2, a 2v2, going in favor of the Crows, mainly because the Shiva took so much damage from the T1. Trying to secure that kill onto the Persephone results in a 2-for-1 trade for the Crows. I mean, notably, that's relics on both mages, right? The Purse dash inwards, a little unfortunate, resulting in the Persephone's demise, if you will. Both Chesters are up. Purple should go in favor of the Crows and does. I want to see these Chesters pulled. Did you just copy and paste that concept? Crazy. It looks like a Chester for Chester, so not a complete loss. What I'm assuming he's going to go was dead even game state, almost identical 6 minutes in. So double Thebes, double Magical. You're good, dude. Shiva just trying to gain as many stacks on this Prophetic as possible, poking them out from range with this Thoth. By they, I mean Warriors are going to look for a wave clear on here, then immediately look for this red buff with pressure. Zercat dashing forward, immediately ulting the Shiva under tower, forcing 2 ults for 2 ults for 1. Let me rephrase that. Or 2 for 2. Shiva's ulting, I'm dumb. So 2 ults for 2 ults. Red buff was secured by the Thoth, so still a net win for the Warriors. Thoth ult connecting. Not a ton of damage in turn. A blue buff invade by the Warriors. Now, Thoth's got to be a little careful. He's positioning aggressively. Kabrakan has ult, though. Crow's just looking to put enough pressure to make sure they secure blue buff and do. Now, keep in mind, blue buff's an aura, so Kabrakan picks that up for his team, allowing this Persephone to play safely. And double Thieves, double Genjis for this Crow's roster. Ward pressure, obviously owned by the Warriors. Double Rag Ward on blue buff and aggressive choke point. I gotta find a better name for these choke points. Purple and blue spawning just under 30 seconds. Warriors holding wave for the Thoth while Purse pokes them out continuously. Good damage by this Persephone. Onto the Xingqian Shiva. Zercat looking for any kind of lockdown. Immediately ulted. Forcing Xingqian ult. Purse forced to dash backwards for the Thoth. Thoth beads forced to the Zercat lockdown. So 3 ults for 3 ults. Obviously, relic usage by the Thoth results in a net win for the Crows. Because all 3 relics are up still for the Crows. Stun a little off the mark, unfortunately, for the Xingqian. Now, Chesters are up in the choke point. Blue and purple are up. However small a margin is the Crows' victory as far as relic usage. I want to see who secures this next red and purple, aka Chester. Zercat dashing forward, trying to catch this Thoth. Thoth able to get dash off. Good in turn damage. Xingqian is back with full health. Kabrakan just not pathing in. Red is spawning. That should go in favor of the Warriors because Purse, no mana, just over half health. Answer Zercat backs and does result in a red buff for the Warriors. 17 stacks up Prophetic on the Shiva. Chester should be pulled along with the blue. These margins of current victory almost dead even on both sides. A Desolation notably immediately put onto this Thoth, 20% CDR, along with the percent pen from Obshard going into this double magical. Trying to turn as much damage as possible. A Purse ult from range off the mark took me by complete surprise while Kabrakan's on purple buff soloing it. A little confused here, however he gets Chester. Yes, the Chester trap use that you're saying? Couldn't move? Yeah. Chester came in behind, unfortunate. Outplayed by PvE. So fuck to say. Alright. These builds are identical by this Crabraken, Surcat, the Thebes, Magi's into, I'm assuming it's going to be a Pride win. Jing Chen being the target of their aggression. Crabraken ulting this Thoth. Good ult by the Jing Chen, peeling up his Thoth. Not a ton of damage in tow though. Shiva ulting, so Thoth still has ult presence. Hovered it, but not releasing it. See how this Thoth POV looks. All covering ult. First is in ult. Good dash immunity by that Persephone, immunity framing that Thoth ult. This is being really well played by this Persephone as far as that dash. Making sure that that Thoth isn't getting that chance to really chunk her down. So, second relics being elected for here on the Thoth and Jing Chen. Another Phantom, what would assume to be Phantom Shell, and then Aegis for the Thoth. Now, there are a couple notable things with that. The Thoth not getting Phantom Shell himself, going for the Aegis for the immunity frame on the damage. You have to have one of these backline tanks go Phantom Shell and then hover for this Thoth, or recollapse backwards, helping him Phantom Shell through. But neither have upgraded to Phantom Shell. Surcat able to blink and ult this Thoth. Jing Chen ulting the Purse ult. So a 2 for 2 as far as ultimates for the team trade again. Red is up. Got both teams have to be a little careful and not overly poked down. Surcat, good double taunt. Crabraken immediately ulting, looking for the Shiva. One shell force the other one down. Thoth able to put a ton of damage back in his Persephone up, but is that enough? It might prove just enough. The Thoth ulting that Persephone, creating some of that separation, making sure the Shiva able to make it out on a sliver of health. How are you, Greatest? I'm good, dude. Red able to be secured. So a 2 for 2 as far as ultimates. The cooldown on the side of the Crows. Ult's already back up. Neither able to secure that kill. Just popping in. This is the first and only set, unfortunately. No other sets are scheduled for tonight. We have the big tournament tomorrow that will be live, however, the Slash Lock tournament, for those that you don't know or haven't signed up. Obviously, everyone that is signed or subbed for the Joust League able to play in that as well, because you're already subbed to the channel. That tournament will be going on or going live tomorrow at 7 p.m. EST, so tune in for that. A big Surcat all onto the Shiva, forcing him under tower, getting that Pride on Pock. Not able to turn a ton of damage onto the Shiva, however. Purse doing a really good job at out-damaging currently this Thoth, who's constantly trying to poke the Purse range damage with these plants. Surcat getting a big blink onto that Thoth. However, the Thoth able to turn the damage with ult, getting a 1-for-1 trade, like I had mentioned originally in P's and B's, which mage gets a ton of value, both able to exchange lives. However, that 2 for 2, just like I said, that 2 for 2 immediately going in favor of the Crows for the second time. The Surcat Crabraken versus the Jing Chen Shiva. Unfortunately, just not enough by the Warriors. So a 2-for-1 trade favoring the Crows. Notably, like I said, we still have yet to see a Phantom Shell on the side of the Warriors. I'm a big... You should immediately see that after second item, if not third. Not getting Phantom Shell here. This engage by the Surcat. And then Kabrakan alt getting / catching that Thoth dash should spell immediate death. The only reason that didn't go terribly wrong / horrifically wrong for the Warriors is the return alt by the Thoth securing that purse kill. A 2-for-1. You have to get it. A Phantom Shell now upgraded after third item slot for the Jing Chen. I want to see another Phantom Shell. The communication is going to have to come through as far as the usage there. A little unfortunate. Thoth able to get that alt off on the Persephone, salvaging what little was there. The red is spawning shortly. Jing immediately alting, getting purse beads, purse alting, purse alt a little off the mark. Should be a 2-for-1 as far as ultimate trade, now favoring the Warriors, even though Shiva is pretty heavily poked out. Thoth a little out of range. That purse is pretty poked down, however. It should just result in a red buff. The Surcat blink getting caught by the Thoth one, resulting in a Surcat alting a melee. Unfortunate, we all have been there. Good range poke by the Thoth, making sure that she was engaged at all times. A Relic Dagger outside the Kabrakan, looking for these beads blinks, more so the blink ultimates onto the Thoth. I don't mind this pickup, trying to get that engage a ton. A big Kabrakan ult, forcing Phantom Shell mixed with the Purse ult. Unfortunately, Jing Chen ult not able to connect with the Persephone. Those kind of engages, constantly keeping them down. Now keep in mind, we still don't have a Phantom Shell here, so their one Phantom Shell is down. I want to see an immediate now re-engage once these ults are up, aka Purse, Kabrakan ult, locking down this Thoth, considering Kabrakan has blink. You're already at half timer, aka that ult is already almost on its way back up. I actually want to notably hover just to see the cooldown. His ult already, it's at 6 seconds. He hasn't even made it back to lane. And his ult's about to be back up. This is actually going to be a massive misplay because this Phantom Shell isn't up. If this Kabrakan gets ult, blink ult onto this Thoth, that should just spell the end for him. Shiva dash down. Surcat's just hovering, waiting for this Kabrakan to get that off. That is the play here. However, Shiva now the focus instead. A double beads forced. Kabrakan blink is down. His ult is still up along with the Surcat. I wanted to see, instead of blinking the Shiva, blinking that Thoth instead. The Relic Dagger putting in a ton of work for this blink. However, the ult immediately used on the Shiva. The dash caught. This should be the all-in called for the Shiva, and is Thoth ult immediately off the mark. A 1-0 trade. Ultimates down. Gotta be a little careful. Surcat blinks up in 8. They're trying to poke down the Jing Chen as we turn back to tower. And ult immediately turn the Jing Chen. No ultimate or beads available. Should spell his end. The double dash is the Surcat. Just enough damage trying to secure it. And does. Tanking up the tower. A 2/3-0 trade. A full wipe / deicide in favor of the Crows. Incredibly unfortunate. Phantom Shell now upgraded for the Shiva. Almost a little too much, a little too late. Shiva up in 4. However, the Thoth Jing Chen down for 20. It should result in a T1. I want to see a T1 and immediately go bull versus trying to shove this bird here, learning from their previous mistakes from original game. The Shiva does have ult, but this isn't all in. The Shiva stepped out of tower. Ult immediately forced, and enough damage turned on. A big misplay by the Shiva stepping outside of T1. All 3 ults immediately dumped. That should result now in bird. Don't even have to path the bull. Unfortunate. I would have liked the Shiva staying under tower, using the ult for CC immunity to make sure he's not thrown back out into Kabrakan and Persephone ult. But a big play by the Crows, getting that Shiva pickup, securing yet another kill and bird, a T1 bird in the span, a short span of a few minutes. A big spike now for the Crows. Immediate turn in their favor. A Heartseeker pickup on the side of the Surcat. Now, Phantom Shells are going to be up. We're going to be looking for that engage, burning one, if not both of these shells on this engage, and then looking for a re-engage. Relics up on both DPSs. Neither one at alternate time yet. Surcat alt, or Blink alting the Xing Chen. Persol off the mark, unfortunately. Surcat locked down. A good blink stun by this Kabrakan. Gridlocking this Shiva. But is it enough damage? The Pride Wind proc should give him just enough health to get out. That all-in proving just not enough. I love that engage. The Kabrakan blink catching that dash and then ulting to make sure that he can't get out. Unfortunately, the Xing Chen creating enough separation to make sure the Purse isn't able to secure that kill. Pride Wind proc getting him out of danger / kill threshold from that Surcat. Just not enough by the Crows. We're playing on small margins for a possible pick / a ton of damage onto Titan. I need to see a big difference / swing from this Warriors roster. They're not able to get on to this Persephone at all, being that they're the ones being engaged on with this double blink. I want to see them pick a target and burst it quickly, and however that actually looks. APOC, I appreciate the sub, man. I don't know about all that as far as top trending. I actually don't... I was about to say, I don't mind this Kabrakan all trying to create the separation. However, an all-in on the bull was not the call. Purse all hitting that wall, trying to gridlock. The ult was off the mark. That should result in all three ults utilized by both teams. Now it's going to come down to base damage. Shiva leaving Xing to his own demise here, if you will. A big amount of poke forced onto the Xing Chen. I was about to say I would love them to recollapse backwards for this bull. However, they have wave pressure looking for this bull. Surcat blinked in, forcing Thothas backward, gaining bird based off of fire wave. Good presence / play by the Crows. Surcat dash caught by the Shiva knockup. Purse ulted again, just off the mark. See it coming. Looks like Xing is the target selection. The Kabrakan ult. Unfortunately, Xing Chen dashes were up. Person. You talking to yourself in third person is a little interesting concept. Yeah, no, Purse or Kabrakan all in CDs. What, you're at 15 seconds already and we just used that? He passed back into lane and he already has it almost back up, right? Full cooldown plus relic dagger for these relics is actually insane. I mean, a lot of this, like, Crows are the pressure-based. It's just a matter of, I need to see something different from this Warriors. Either picking and sundering with the Sunder pickup, looking for this Cabra, because the mobility of the Surcat, it's really hard to lock her down. Either that or go for this double dive, which is what you elected for, this double frontline, the Shiva Xing Chen to pick this Purse. I'm just not a big fan of how we drafted in general to really make that happen. We're kind of on the opposite end of the CC and being the ones picked. This Thoth ult able to catch this Purse. However, beads forced. Beads were used. Per speeds were upgraded though, so relic slash cooldowns back up. Is it enough? That is a big engage by the Sloth, able to contact his purse. She is healing up from her plants. Sir Cat able to get on top of the Sloth, forcing beads in turn. So beads for beads on both DPSs. Warriors look to be the worst for wear. Cabrakan trying to close gap to get that stun, to create some of that. Shell immediately forced. So both shells are forced. Now keep in mind, both Phantom Shells are down. You got to be a little conscious here because Cabrakan has ult. Both of these ults are up via Purse and Cabrakan. It could be, again, yet another bait. The Jing Chen, if comes alone, could be turned on in the middle of a fire wave. Notably, Thoth and Purse speeds are down, but the Thoth does have alternate timeline hitting level 20 before this Persephone. She's at level 19, so we have a small gap slash advantage here in favor of the Warriors. I would like to see this Persephone farm this level 20 and then go for Bull. However, it looks like they're hovering this bullfight. Jing Chen's back. This is a 2v3. Thoth is pinged out, knowing he doesn't have beads. I appreciate that, APOC. Hopefully you have a good night at work, man. So both wards are down. Cabrakan's going to hover up. I'm assuming looking for a sentry on either team. He's able to secure slash kill the ward, keeping ward pressure by the crows. Thoth pathing back in. Red should be immediately secured, so we have an alternate timeline on both. So playing, I love, with the awareness on the crows, making sure that they get this alternate timeline on the Persephone, giving that second life, also waiting for beads on both the Thoth and Persephone. We have a small gap slash window where this Thoth doesn't have beads for 17. Sir Cat creating some of that separation, just positioning the way she is. Jing immediately ulting this Persephone, immunity'd out by the dash. Cabrakan being the source slash target by the Thoth ult. Jing Chen's got to be a little careful. Taunt a little off the mark. I'm not trying to be rude, but at the same time, we have yet to see any value off the Sunder. I would have liked if we turned there and got a big Sunder onto either one of the tanks and then Thoth's ulting that, just to try to gain some value. We changed targets with the Thoth ult onto the Cabrakan. I like that change. However, we're not really utilizing those full kits. You got Sunder? Okay, so I'm completely trolling then. I'm just not seeing them. So that's good then. A good combo from the Sunder Thoth ult to really make sure that you were full contacted there. My old blind eyes are not appearing to find that. Jing Chen ulting both back into a Thoth ult. However, both Phantom Shells were used. Or one was used, let me rephrase that. Thoth beads once again. All ults are down. Shiva's got to be a little careful. Jing Chen elected for Spear Magus and Ethereal Last, trying to get some kind of damage out. Pings out red buff, even though it's not up. Shiva backed in front, so they know. Jing Chen's got to be a little careful here. Fire Blink's trying to get some damage. This is a 2v3. The Sir Cat able to force the dash. Alternate timeline. Aegis, both relics, still not enough with alternate timeline. Results in a Thoth pickup slash kill. A little unfortunate, the Shiva backing in front, knowing that's a 2v, turns it into a 2v3. Sir Cat and Cabrakan immediately go for that all-in on the Thoth. able to secure it through alternate timeline. Persephone's got to be a little careful. Now a 2-for-1. Thaw's still down for a 30. Xing Chen is the only remaining team member standing. Does he even get the dashes out? He doesn't. Oh my goodness. The lockdown off of Sir Cat taught alt in the middle, not allowing the Xing Chen to get those dashes off, results in a 2-0 for the Crows. Unfortunate. That gap gets closed by these double blinks onto the Thoth. A GG Crows 2-0 over the Warriors. The damage from this Persephone.